Minnesota Fighting Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell made his debut Sunday against the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers, and namely his offense. The whole Kevin O'Connell coming over from the Rams, Sean McVay, what's he going to do? What's he going to be as a head coach as well as a play caller? Well, the offense, notorious Vikings offense. That's right. Looking damn good. Justin Jefferson having a record-setting day, putting up points against the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers, allegedly one of the best defenses in the National Football League, getting a big-time W. So we got 10 offensive takeaways from Kevin O'Connell's debut. Number one, the receivers were wide open. Now, part of it is receivers working their routes and getting separation as well. Part of it is scheme and putting the guys in the right spots, attacking different coverages, different looks. It really was beautiful, man. And it's something that has been going on in all offseason work, whether it be OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, and preseason, that you have seen a level of play from the receivers where they're getting open. They're getting separation. Part of it is scheme. Part of it is coaching. Part of it is on the player. But it's something that's going to be a great benefit for the Vikings. Obviously, we're Kirk Cousins. He's really in his element right now. We're going to get to Kirk here in a second. But you have Kirk feeling good, looking good. The offensive line, a little bit shaky in the first half, really got together in the second half against the Packers. And all of a sudden, Kirk can stand back there, throw darts. Also, Kirk is able to make some plays off script now. So I was like, ooh, baby. And guess what? Jefferson, the whole thing about Jefferson is the concerns. Like, all right, he's wide receiver one. He's going to get cornerback one. He's going to get bracketed. He's going to get doubled. He's going to get all this stuff, right? But he's still 8. He still got 11 friggin' targets. Still had 9 catches for $184 and 2. Could have had 3. Just get that toe down. Could have had more, but it's amazing, man. Next up, offensive takeaway number 2 from Kevin O'Connell's debut: mismatches galore. And we said this at the time. How beautiful was it seeing Justin friggin' Jefferson shift, and then all of a sudden he's up against Quay Walker, their inside linebacker, or another linebacker, or a safety. It's just Jefferson is going to win that matchup every single time. And guess what? It's not going to be exclusive to him. You're going to see it whether it's Dalvin outside on a linebacker. You're going to see Adam Thielen on a safety. You're going to see Irv Smith Jr. or Johnny Munt on an undersized cornerback in the red zone. It's going to be amazing. And really, that's what it goes back to Sean McVay. It's something that he is so good at. And, going back in the day, back to the 2018 Thursday Night Football game against the Rams in the Coliseum, where Anthony Barr got cooked because he ended up in coverage against Robert Woods, who was the only wide receiver in the personnel. I think they were running 13 personnel. Gurley was a running back, 3 tight ends, and then Robert Woods was the only wide receiver. They shifted, and it ended up Woods on Anthony Barr. Jared Goff hit him for a touchdown. Everyone crucified Anthony Barr, but no, that's a hell of a coaching job by Sean McVay, and that's something that Kevin O'Connell is going to be bringing to the Vikings offense. Next up, offensive takeaway number 3 from Kevin O'Connell: Kirk looking comfortable, man. Like, I've always tried to call a spade with Kirk Cousins. He was the problem in 2018 and for part of 2019, as well as damn sure the first 6 weeks of 2020. But since the bye week of 2020, I think that Kirk Cousins has played some of the best football of his career. I think last season was his apex, and I think that he's only getting better all the time. Week 1, 118.9 quarterback rating, also had an 887 QBR, 103.1 was his quarterback rating in 2021. He looked comfortable. 8.7 yards per attempt, completed over 70% of his passes, and he was making plays on time, on script, as well as when protection broke down, he was able to shift around, buy a little bit more time, look to his secondary and third reads, and even make some plays off script. So I think if Kirk plays like he did against Green Bay, you can win a lot of games with him. You can win a Super Bowl with that version of Kirk Cousins. I firmly believe that. Next up, number 4 takeaway from Kevin O'Connell's debut: crosser concept. So one of the reasons why Kirk Cousins is so comfortable is that the Vikings are getting receivers completely wide open and getting them in open space, and Kirk Cousins is very good at getting them an accurate ball, allowing them to turn up and make some plays, yards after catch. So part of it is getting Kirk comfortable. So you have these quick developing shallow crossers where you get a natural pick, or if it's up against zone, you just hit the dead spot of the zone. But also it's mid crossers, it's deep crossers, like Jefferson's 64-yard catch and run was on a deep crossing concept. So yeah, that is part and parcel of getting Kirk comfortable. Also, the receivers just running wide open all the time, getting those mismatches, and it all just works together, comes together in a beautiful gumbo of offense, man. Next up, takeaway number 5 from Kevin O'Connell's debut. Motion and shifts. Again, this goes into the mismatches where you break the huddle with a certain look and certain personnel. They get lined up. All of a sudden, Jefferson is motioning across the field. You got Thielen coming across. You got Dalvin splitting out wide. You have all this stuff where it's just small little mind games where you're working to find the best possible situation against a defense. And it's something that wasn't incorporated too much with Clint Kubiak, but now you are seeing it with Sean McVay. It's definitely a much more matured approach to offense, and it's one of the big reasons why the Vikings had so many good matchups week 1 against the Packers. Next up, thing number 6, takeaway from the Kevin O'Connell offensive debut. 11 personnel. So the Vikings were either dead last or among the league bottom in terms of 11 personnel usage over the last 2 seasons. 11 personnel is 1 running back, 1 tight end, so there's your 11, and then the remainder of eligible receivers, 5, is how many wide receivers. Basically 3 wide receiver sets. So you're looking at Jefferson and Thielen and KJ out there doing some work, and then Johnny Munch, tight end most of the time. They're really working Irv back in slowly, and then you got Dalvin as a running back. So now you can go empty, you can go a tight set, you can go wide set, you can do trips, you can run 2x1, 1x2, whatever. Where the Vikings getting their fastest, getting their best out there, and just finding some mismatches, because you can certainly run out of 11 personnel because when you're a nickel and then the defense has smaller personnel out there just running downhill, the Vikings can certainly do that. The wide receivers, a lot like the Rams last year, are very willing and able run blockers, and it's just something that it's nice to have an offense from the 2020s versus the 1920s, the Charleston. It's good to see. Next up, thing number 7 from Kevin O'Connell's offensive debut. They can still run the ball. That's right. Where all this hype and talk has been about the passing game and Cousins and Jefferson, etc. And don't get me wrong, that was a big deal on Sunday. But Dalvin still 8. He got 90 yards on the ground, 4.5 yards per carry. Same thing with Alexander Madison. Both of them averaged 4.5 per carry. Plus, when they needed some big-time yards to run out the clock, secure a first down, and just really salt things away in the second half, they could do it. Imposing that will, because the offensive line has always been able to run block last couple seasons. Pass blocking and in particular interior pass blocking has been an issue, but it's good to see that they can still have their fastball. Next up, thing number 8, no more run pass punt. Run pass punt. All right. Yes, they still ran the ball at times out of 2nd and 10, but they on the first play of their 10 drives, they threw it 5 times, which wouldn't have happened under the previous regime. So Kevin O'Connell, he's not afraid to attack. He's not afraid to try and stay ahead of the sticks. He doesn't want to get stuck in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, low percentage spots. So the Vikings are coming out and they're chucking it. They're throwing it. It's part and parcel with the new offensive identity. Next up, thing number 9 from the Kevin O'Connell offensive debut. Huevos. They didn't pucker. So Huevos going forward on 4th early on resulted in the first Jefferson touchdown. Also being very aggressive in the second half, not being content with a 17-point lead. And then also when it got to 20-7, and you're just like, oh, here we go. Last couple years, this is where the Vikings just lose it. They get too conservative on offense. They give it away now on defense, and the Vikings end up losing 21-20. No. Kevin O'Connell didn't do that. And even though they didn't get a touchdown in the second half, only put up 6 points, those are 6 key points. And they salted away the game. The defense really stepped up yet again, and they didn't waver. Whereas in previous years, maybe the Vikings get themselves in a tough spot and they start feeling sorry for themselves overall as a team, and then they just give it away. It's what happened last year. It's what happened a lot in 2020 as well. Lastly, thing number 10, Kevin O'Connell offensive debut. Helping the offensive line. Now, the offensive line, a little bit of an issue in the first half, mainly Ed Ingram, but they really settled down. They made some nice adjustments, Chris Cooper and company. Garrett Bradbury, respect. Overall played a solid game. Kenny Clark, besides a couple of pressures he got on Ed Ingram, was Kenny Clark his name out there? No, not particularly. But in terms of offensive play calling, like he knows what he knows. And the offensive line, just trying to help them out. Where under previous regimes, especially Norv, where you had a porous offensive line and you're still calling 7 and 9 step drops. Like you're calling plays that your offensive line can't block up. And Kevin O'Connell is moving away from that, getting the ball out quick, the shallow crossers, getting some pocket movement with Kirk Cousins, half rollouts, a lot of play action still as well. So he's helping out the offensive line. And frankly, if we can get this caliber of protection this season, I mean, it could be good to go. Because that's all you need. Again, pass protection, be average. And then Kirk Cousins can operate, and the offense will take care of itself. But overall, it's very impressive. And the whole thing is, so you're the defense. Like, oh, you're going up against Rodgers and no Lazard and no Devontae Adams and no Bakhtiari and no Elton Jenkins. That defense is good to go. I mean, that defense is supposedly going to be one of the best in the league. They were at full strength for the most part, and the Vikings still got after it. Yeah, they still got after it, even though the Packers' defense is on the road. That's supposed to travel, and it didn't. And also, Jar Alexander probably should have traveled with Justin Friggin Jefferson, but probably saved Jar a little bit of embarrassment because I think Jefferson still would have brought the pain. That's right, man. But that's it. 10 takeaways from Kevin O'Connell's head coaching debut for the offense. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.